There is less competition in India to IOI because of lack of awareness. Major students are going to JE and unfortunately they don't have awareness about these Olympiads, so the competition is getting very less.
I won't say this is because people are going for JEE.
You mentioned that you got selected for team and also get silver medal in 2004. About the your school reaction and all. You started preparation. Which type of social media you use and what content you consume on them? How was you were managing your time? Olympiads are not getting fame as better as like Olympics.
There's two issues here actually. So one is obviously, as you said, in India we don't focus on the schools. We focus at making good IITs, good universities, and as you said, government school no one wants to go to. Government university everyone wants to go to.
I heard something like in African countries, like they were gone through PDFs. Is it possible to participate like 4th or 5th class student in IOI? I was asking that you were preparing parallelly for 3 Olympiads at a time. Is there any age limit or not? What do you suggest? Like if a person want to prepare, like which Olympiad you will suggest him to prepare for?
Pay attention to your interest. Because if you're not interested,
Did you think that you can do it? And did you know the depth of the Olympiad of IOI? When did you start the SPO and what made you start it? Is your website enough for them to practice? And how your preparation started? Did you take any training or like you do your own research and all? Sat Sri Akal, Samik. Welcome to Rethink Thinkcast. To begin today's Thinkcast with your childhood, what kind of environment did you grow up in?
So my parents are professors, not in technology, they are law professors, but they teach, and I grew up in a sort of environment where education and academia was very, very valued.
Were you staying with your grandparents or like that? Or
I mean, there's nothing to say about my grandparents.
let's move to second question. I think Samik, I am curious to know about your school life. It influenced your problem solving thinking and all.
So I come from a tier 2 city, so most people around me were focused more on competitive examinations, JEE, NEET, even NTSE in 10th grade. And actually, this is probably different from a lot of people, but my school did not help me get into Olympiads, get into almost all of the opportunities that I have availed. None of them were through my school. Most of them were through my own research and sometimes my parents, my friends. But unfortunately, my school didn't really give me that edge.
How did you first got to know about the Olympiads?
So I actually got to know about the idea of Olympiad, right? The sort of like a exam at the highest level. I got to know about that through SOF. It's really, really popular. I mean, I think everyone watching would have probably heard of it if they have kids. But these specific ones, Informatics Olympiad, I actually found out about them through the NUS website. That's the National University of Singapore. So on their website, they have this section where they say if you have a medal in one of these Olympiads, you are basically guaranteed admission into our university. So I read that and I was like, yeah, I want to do this Olympiad. I want to get
Like
into this. I want to get a medal.
at what age it was?
This was, I think, in the end of my 8th grade. In the end of my 8th grade or like the start of my 9th grade.
Like why did you went to through NUS website?
So actually, NUS was one of the universities I wanted to go to. So as I said, my parents were both professors. Not were, they are professors. So, this was one of the universities my dad told me, like, go check out National University of Singapore. It's a really good university. And the thing about Singapore in particular is that they love Indian people. like comparing them to, say, American universities. So, I was like, let me look into this university, let me look into what I need to do. Because when it comes to Indian universities, the system is very clear. It's either through JEE, CET, or maybe some universities, they give through boards, but it's always some exam. But international universities don't work that way. So I was like, I want to learn how they work, basically.
Do your parents know about Olympiads before knowing it?
So my parents actually did not know about Olympiads as well. They knew about, again, NUS. My dad is the one who told me about NUS, but Olympiads was basically like my parents learned about it at the same time.
Okay, then you proposed the Olympiads to your parents. Like, how did you approach to your parents and how you started preparation?
So, my parents were actually very, very supportive of this because, as I said, there's SOF Olympiads that happen in basically every school out there. And my parents actually really encouraged me to give those exams. They were like, give these competitive exams, get a feel of how you prepare. And so they were like, yeah, if there's like some exam that if you clear, you can get into, say, NUS and stuff, we want you to give it. Because one of the things that I feel like with Indian parents and the Indian public in general is that we consider Indian universities to be much, much better than basically anything else. Like most people, if you tell them, like, my kid went to IIT, they'll be like, wow. But at the same time, you tell them Harvard, Stanford, MIT, they'll be like, okay, yeah, cool. They don't know
Yeah,
how good those universities are. Most people don't even look into them. And my parents weren't one of those people. They wanted me to go international, so they were very, very supportive of me going into informatics and going into these sort of Olympiads pathway in general.
I'm also one of the kid who gave an SOF Olympiads, but I didn't found these Olympiads international level ones. Even until I graduated, I didn't even know about these Olympiads. And recently, for doing the podcast with my first guest, like I was doing research, like so that like I got to know about these Olympiads. Until then, I too don't know about the Olympiads. And how your preparation started? Did you take any training, or like you do your own research and all? Like how it started after you knowing the Olympiads? Why you wanna go for IOI? Like there are so many popular Olympiads like IMO. Like most of the people try to go to it because of like many universities will accept easily, and also like it have more fame. Why did you choose IOAI or like IOI?
This is two, three things. Okay. So one of the things, as you said, most people don't even know about these Olympiads. I think that's mainly because these Olympiads, the real ones, are conducted by government universities, government agencies. They conduct the Olympiad, but they don't have funding to do marketing. Like you're never gonna see a poster of, make your kid do IMO, the real one. But SOF does a lot of marketing. They spend a lot of money on reaching out to schools, on telling schools, make your kids give this Olympiad. That's one of the reasons. Another reason actually is that the real Olympiads are very, very hard to get into. Like not everyone can go into them, and it is again very, very, very difficult. Like you need to be some of the best students in not only your school but in your state to even have a chance at going at these Olympiads. And I mean, international stage is going to be like you need to be one of the best four in your country. And actually, the reason why,
Yeah, and that like to get into one of the four in your country, like the probability is very less for IOI. As I recently checked that in zonal level, 50,000 participants are participating from our India, and end up in four, like it's almost a 0.008 probability. Yeah, it's very difficult. Like most of the exams I have researched, like for even in Olympiads also for IMO and all, but the IOI is like very, the probability is very less, like 0.08.
So actually, the thing with that is, in fact, this is one of the reasons why I got into IOI in the first place. Is that if you look at the IMO, it is very popular internationally and it is very popular in India, at least relatively. I mean, obviously, it's not as popular as, say, JEE, but it is very, very popular. Like a lot of people give the first stage. But if you look at informatics, the numbers are a little deceiving. Like in the zonal stage, I think this year around 600 people gave. But the issue is that those 600 people actually probably don't know the basics of the subject at all, because informatics is not a subject they teach in schools, and that causes like disproportionately less people to go for informatics in India. And I want to be very specific here. This is only a problem that occurs in India. If you look at the US or maybe the UK and stuff, of course, there'll be less people in informatics than maths, because maths is a more popular subject in general, but it won't be as disproportionate as it is in India, which actually makes that makes the informatics olympiads quite an interesting thing, because they are highly valued, because it's pretty hard to get into internationally. But if you're in India, it's actually not that difficult to get into as well. I mean, it's not easy by any means, but it is not that difficult. It is not as difficult as mathematics.
Are you telling that like there is less competition in India to IOI because of lack of awareness?
It is.
Like most the intelligent people are like major students are going to JE, and even there are logically good people. Unfortunately, they don't have awareness about these Olympiads, so the competition is getting very less. Do you agree that?
So the I won't say this is because people are going for JEE, because uh, if that was the reason, then we would see really less people giving mathematics Olympiad as well. But if you look at the mathematics Olympiad, there are a lot of people that give it. But and one point that could be argued is that maths is something that is included in JEE as well. So maybe JEE people give both JEE and mathematics Olympiad, but that's actually not true. The syllabus of JEE Maths and the Maths Olympiad is quite different. So all of these people who are giving mathematics Olympiads probably aren't doing JEE. So we have people who want to do Olympiads. It's just that they don't even know about informatics. Like, I think when I go to people, when I meet people and I tell them, yeah, I'm a Olympiad medalist in informatics, they're like, what even is informatics? People don't even know what this subject is, because it's not taught in our schools. It's not a part of our curriculum.
How did you started your preparation?
So on the website of the IARCS, so that's the agency that conducts the Informatics Olympiad in India, they had this link called UFTS. Like, it was a mentorship program. It's not really a mentorship program, it's more of a community.
You were going through website at which year it is?
So this was, I think, in the middle of ninth grade, maybe not even middle, like closer to the end. I would say around November, December. So basically, what happened was, so as I told you at the start of ninth grade, I knew about these Olympiads, but I actually didn't take them seriously. So I didn't study for them at all. And then, November, December came, and my mom was like, didn't you want to give this Olympiad? Register for it, prepare for it. And that's when I actually started looking for how do I prepare for this. And that's when I found, okay, this is a mentorship program run by past IOI medalists. I joined that, and that's where I basically found resources. So that program had a really, really good blog that they had written. It was on a bunch of stuff, on a bunch of topics. and it was a really, really big resource, right? I don't even know how I read it all in like 1 month. It was a really, really big resource, like library. But that was, I think, I wouldn't say that that was the source of like my current knowledge, but that was sort of my getting started thing. That's what got me started with informatics.
While you were starting, you were like, did you think that you can do it? And did you know the depth of the Olympiad of IOI?
Uh, so actually, when I started this in ninth grade, I I mean, I obviously didn't think that I would make it to IOI, but I actually started with the sort of not expectation, but with the sort of mindset that I'm going to clear the first two stages. Because once you clear the first two stages, you get to go to the training camp, and then you also get a whole bunch of benefits. Like IIT Gandhinagar gives you pretty much direct admission and stuff like that. So that was my initial target. And I did believe that I would probably be able to clear it. Not in ninth grade, maybe not in ninth grade, but in 10th or 11th grade at least.
Were you good at school, like in academics?
So I think that would depend upon the subject you ask. So mathematics, I was really, really good. The science was pretty fine as well. Social studies was fine as well. Like I didn't find it interesting, but I I was able to score on those subjects. But when you come to the languages, I was really, really bad at them. Like I really, really hated languages.
Okay, okay. Then you were already like logically good before starting the Olympiad, right? As you know, math, like you were able to solve problems easily. Then and also like you were able to score in social studies and science. Maybe your memory power is also good, I guess. What do you think?
So actually this is somewhere, so I had someone who mentored me in 10th grade for this informatics Olympiad. And one of the things that I think he told me, which I think is a very, very valid answer to this question, is that people who are doing good in Olympiads don't have like some magical problem solving ability. They've just seen enough problems to kind of pattern match this problem. Like maybe I've solved a bunch of addition problems, and then I get something that kind of looks like addition but maybe isn't exactly addition. I can still solve it because it's similar. I match the patterns. And I think that would actually probably even generalize to math in school. But like I would say math in school is pretty different than the Olympiads.
I was asking that like, was you having good logical ability in school or not?
So I think again it's really hard to define what logical ability really is, because if you're asking about say a logical test, then I would do really bad on that. Even if you gave me like one of those logic puzzles right now, I would do really bad on that. But if you gave me like a math question, I would probably be good at it because again I can match the patterns. I think that's a more important, like that's the important skill, not like logical problem solving.
After you taking serious about the Olympiads, then how did you started preparation? Did you left your school, or like how was your maintaining both academics and this preparation?
So the main year I prepared for this Olympiads was in 10th grade. And in 10th grade, I didn't leave school. I was managing it with school. But the thing is, my school was not my school, I would say my teachers were rather lenient with me. So what I would do is like maybe, if it's like 6 days in the week, I would take one day off to study informatics. And let's say like, homework, I'll just rush through it. Maybe don't put too much effort into it. Like, basically cut and save time wherever possible. Like if there's some piece of thing that maybe I don't need to do for school, like it maybe there's some assignment or something, it's not required, then I won't do it. So I would like cut corners everywhere to save time to study informatics.
Like in between while you were preparing in school, like did your teachers or friends notice that you were preparing for something?
So actually, this is a really, really interesting question because one of my friends was preparing for an Olympiad as well. In fact, he won a gold at the International Olympiad in astronomy and astrophysics this year. And, he was basically my best friend in 10th grade. And I think this was like a major, major thing between us. Like we used to motivate each other, study more for the Olympiad, study more for the Olympiad. And teachers, they knew as well. Actually, that is probably why they were lenient with me. They didn't consider me like I'm just trying to skip school or, I'm just wasting time. They were like, yeah, he's maybe taking a day off, but he's studying on in that time. So they were like fine with it as well.
What about the board which in your school? Like is it CBSE or?
So I did go to a CBSE school, and I think this is one of the few things that I love about CBSE. Uh, Basically, all of the marks depend upon your board exams. Of course, there's 20 marks for internals, but most schools, including mine, are very, very lenient with that. Like, they'll give most people 20 out of 20, no questions asked. So, what I actually did was, I basically did not prepare for my exams at all during the year. And then maybe I don't remember the exact time, but like I think we had pre-boards in December or something. So when those pre-boards came, then I finally started studying. So I was able to save a bunch of time because I didn't study for the final exams during the whole year, and then I just studied for everything at the end all at once.
Okay,
Uh,
then when did you give your first attempt in your 10th class?
so I did give it once in ninth grade. As I said, my mother urged me to uh, register and give it, but I wouldn't actually count that a serious attempt because I only had like 1 month of preparation, 1 month of very sloppy preparation. So it's like I did give it technically, and I cleared the first stage as well. It's not like I failed on the first stage, cleared the first stage, and I did score. What I would call a pretty good score on stage 2 as well, but I don't think that's a serious attempt. In 10th grade, I gave it seriously. I spent the whole year preparing for it. I cleared the first stage, second stage, and I even got selected for team. Although I would actually say that was probably a little lucky.
Okay, then it was 2024.
Yes, 2024.
Like in again in your 12th you started giving it. 11th.
Yeah. So it's like, of course, once I've given it in 10th, I'll give it in 11th and I'll give it in 12th. But the thing about that is, so in 10th grade, as I said, I got selected for the team. So I think the team selection was in June. So what I did, so okay, some backstory here. I had joined a coaching for JEE, but then I made it to team. So I told my parents, I was like, want to uh take a holiday from the coaching for 2 months to prepare for the international stage. And they were like, you know what, fine. That's like a big opportunity. And, take 2 months off, prepare as hard as physically possible, and then we'll see after the international stage. So for those 2 months I grinded a lot, like 7 hours per day, 8 hours per day. Like I'll just wake up, do informatics, eat, go to sleep. And I think those 2 months of preparation really, really raised my level up. So I
Yeah, like
got a
how was you were managing your time, like time management and all, like.
So I think one of the major things about me is that I don't take up too many opportunities at once because I am actually not that good with time management. So as I said, all I did was informatics. So I didn't really need to manage my time because I would just wake up, study informatics all day, and then go to sleep. There was like nothing else I was doing during the day. So that simplifies the time a lot.
What about the diet you are following in between your preparation?
So I don't have a special diet. The only sort of uh, thing about food with me was I have to eat stuff that is heavy, that would fill me up, that's like very very high in energy. Like I can't eat lightweight foods, maybe something like poha and shit stuff. I really don't like that because I feel like I need my stomach to be absolutely full when I give the contest. But I would say a sort of interesting thing I did was I used to run a lot, like really, really long. Like I think my personal best was 16 kilometers in about 2 hours. And I used to run every single day. Like I'll study in the morning and in the afternoon as well, and then I'll go for a long run in the evening. And I think one of the things about running is that it is very very similar to giving contests, because of course running is a physical thing and contest is a mental thing, but both require you to focus for really long periods of time with 100% concentration. Because if you're running and your mind drifts away, you'll slow down, or you'll stop running altogether. So when you're running, you need to concentrate on the running, you need to concentrate on your form, you need to concentrate on the track for 2 hours under a lot of stress, physical stress. And that is very very similar to how it happens in Olympiads. I think that this is one of the sort of interesting like things I did outside of actual academic stuff to help me prepare for Olympiads.
What about the resources like laptop and all? You need laptop for at least PC for competitive, to do competitive programming and all. Like when you were in 10th, do you have laptop?
So actually I've had a laptop since I was in like 6th grade, but so obviously I had access to a laptop, and this is one of the reasons why I was so interested in doing informatics as well, because I loved computers, I loved programming, and I wanted to go deeper into it. But actually, so this is actually a really interesting point, and a belief that I think most people hold, that if you want to go into informatics, you need to have a PC or you need to have a laptop. uh, and I would say that's definitely true, right? Like if you want to prepare hard and if you want to prepare properly, you will need those things, but they are not required. Because I, in fact, know of a person, like I know this person specifically, that they did not have access to a laptop, to a tablet, to a PC, but they still were able to clear the first stage and even win a medal on the national stage. Not the international one, but on the national stage.
Yeah, like I heard something like in African countries, like they were gone through PDFs and they also gone international level. Is it true?
So, actually, I don't know much about Africa, but one of the things that always happens is the people who are going to the international stage will almost always have access to a laptop and to a PC. Because the thing about it is, even if you're in a very, very poor country, there'll be at least 4 people in the country who have access to a laptop or a computer and who want to do this Olympiad. Like there'll be at least 4 people. So, and if a person has access to a laptop and a computer, they can definitely prepare way way better than someone who doesn't.
Yeah, like I heard that like some people gone through their preparation through PDFs and later they started sharing laptops and learn these IOI syllabus and all. Like I heard it, but I don't know exactly true or not. Maybe you heard about it, I
So
guess.
I've not heard of something like this. It does seem plausible because again, another one of the thing about poor countries is that the competition is very, very less. Like, if you look at India, if you look at China, if you look at the US, these are very, very big countries with a lot of people preparing and competing for those four spots. But, when you go to a very small country, say, and small and poor, then there's not a lot of people competing for those four spots. Like in the IOI, I think last time out of 600 marks, I had scored 300 something. And there were people who had literally scored a zero and, even less than 50, less than 100. So there are a lot of countries where there's just not enough competition for those four people to, f- to be- for it to be difficult. Like, if I wouldn't expect something like that to happen in India, for example. In India, most people who are going to the international stage will have access to a laptop and a computer.
Like you mentioned that you got selected it for team and also get silver medal in 2004. And like after getting this, like what about the your school reaction and all?
So, actually, my school had a very, very there's two relevant schools here. So, 10th grade, I did from DAV, not DAV, I did it from St. Peter's Academy, Patiala, and I graduated in March of 2024. But the exam happened in September 2024. However, since now this is just like a convention thing, but if you look me up, if you look my IOI 2024 medal up, you'll find that it'll have written, IOI 2024 silver medal awarded to Samik Goyal, St. Peter's Academy, Patiala. So technically, it was affiliated with my old school, but I went to the old school. They, they looked at the medal. They were like, "Congratulations," but they didn't do anything else because frankly they probably didn't know how big of an achievement it was. But my current school, which is DAV Public School Patiala, did pay attention to it. I think there's like a big billboard with my face and my medal in front of my school right now. Like I have a pic of it somewhere in my gallery as well, because I was visiting my school one day and my mother was like, Is that your face on the billboard?" And yeah, so that's uh, just sort
Yeah,
of a
okay.
thing, it's like my old school didn't really know about it. My current school, I mean, my current school didn't know about it, but they heard me out, so they kind of realized it was, a very big achievement.
Do you think like Olympiads are not getting fame as better as like Olympics and also some other sports events or games events?
So, uh, Olympiads are obviously not getting as much traction as the Olympics. And I think this boils down to sort of the entertainment part of it. Like in Olympics, the thing about the Olympics is that it is very fun to watch because you can watch the athletes doing what they do, right? Playing the sport, playing the game. You can watch their every move and you can look at how they played it. But in the Olympiads, you can't really, it's just thoughts happening inside the person's mind. Like, you can't watch Olympiads for fun. And when most people don't watch Olympiads, they don't kind of, they don't get fame. And when the contest itself doesn't get fame, then the winners too don't get fame. Now, actually, this is not only a thing about entertainment, but it is also about the government. Because if you look at China, they heavily promote Olympiads. So in China, what happens
Yeah,
is
yeah.
if you're
Yeah,
good,
Before going to that, let me ask one question about that. Do you know how many when was the last bronze medal got to China? In which year?
Uh, Bronze medal to China. I don't remember, but it's probably like 20 or 30 years ago. Now, actually, technically, they did. There was one person from China who got no medal at all at IOI 2024, but that was a special case. He had gotten gold, but there was some stuff that happened and he was disqualified from the competition. So he ended up winning no medal at all.
Yeah, like what's the exact thing? Can you elaborate it? What was the issue, main issue? What was happening there?
So actually in IOI 2024 there was a big controversy where uh, in the China team 3 people were found to have phones on them on day 2. And so 2 people they found with phones and they were like, these phones weren't turned on, they were switched off. But one person was actually found to not only have a phone but also turn it on in the bathroom. So they went to the bathroom. I mean, I don't know where the phone was, but they took out the phone and they switched it on during the contest. So they were completely disqualified. The other 2 people had their scores halved. So on day 2, like however much they scored, it was, half of it was cut. And actually, one of those people ended up falling from gold to silver because of this. So China got 2 golds, 1 silver, and 1 no medal last year.
Okay, there was like so many years, like I think almost 14 years, they completely gold, entire team gold medals. And also, when you compare to the India, the participation ratio is almost 5 to 10 times more than us. Like as I checked in stats, like there were 50,000 participants all over the India for zonal level, its starting level of IOI. But in when if you go in China at that level, there is almost 5 lakhs people. It's almost 10 times bigger. I was maybe this. I don't know about this situation. Like we can't link this situation to every year Olympics. Maybe they have done this. We don't know exact thing, but like even in IMO also they are getting as many as medals. They got 16 times, like 16 years, complete gold medal for entire teams in IMO also. And like majorly like they know about um they know about the depth of the Olympiad. So like their school system is also much stronger than us. Like currently we have like IITs, right? They were trying to first develop school, then automatically they will go to UG level, so automatically they become good. But here like up to um, 10th, like no up to 12th, I guess up to 12th no one like the government schools are not that much famous as like IITs. For only UG we are keeping that much competition, so we are getting bright minds to UG. If we put lot of efforts in like for the school, then maybe we get school like
So there's 2 issues here actually. So one is obviously, as you said, in India we don't focus on the schools. We focus at making good IITs, good universities, and schools are like just no one looks at them. Like as you said, government school no one wants to go to, government university everyone wants to go to. And China did the other thing. But this is actually not why India is falling behind in Olympiads. The reason why China is so far ahead in Olympiads is because they promote it a lot. And a lot, like I'll tell you how they promote it. So And this is something that was told to me by a Chinese person only. This is not some sort of random knowledge. This is pretty accurate.
I was supposed to do podcast with Chinese Olympiad for next one to know about how they are doing all this. Okay, okay. Let's just tell.
So, in India, for example, if you're within the top 30, so if you're clear the stage 2, so around 30 people clear stage 2, then you can get an admission into IIT Gandhinagar, which is considered a tier 2 IIT in India. Like it's a IIT, but it's a very lower rank IIT. And now this year, IIT Madras and Kanpur have started, but until last year it was just IIT Gandhinagar. Now, if I compare it to China, in China, what they have is, if you're within the top 50 in any Olympiad, then you can choose which university you want to go to within China. Like you can go to any university you want. So that is like if in India we said top 30 people in the Olympiad can go into IIT Bombay, Delhi, Madras, wherever they want to go to, they can go. And if we introduce that in India, we'll start winning medals. Because the moment people see like, yeah, if my kid does Olympiads, then he'll get into IIT, then they'll make their kids to Olympiads. Coaching centers will pop up and people will just study as hard as possible. And we're actually seeing this in effect right now. So as I said, this year, IIT Kharagpur, Kanpur, Madras. So, 3 of the top 5 IITs have started sort of this similar system in India, and we are seeing the effects. So, last year in the zonal stage, we had 300 people appearing. This year, we had 600. That's a double increase in 1 year just because of IITs.
Can
And
you specify that like for zone level only 600 per each zone, or like entire India?
entire India.
Entire India only 600 people are participating for IOI zonal level.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad statistic, but that is true.
Yeah, I was thinking that 50,000 people are participating at zonal level.
So that is true for basically all of the other Olympiads. You look at physics, chemistry, maths, there's easily 50,000, around 50,000 people giving. But again, informatics is very special. It is at very low competition in India.
Okay. Like this number is gradually increasing from past years.
Yeah, again, I think the main sort of uh, what has catapulted this rate, this participation rate, is IITs. Because, it's like, I would say even personally, I wouldn't do Olympiads if I didn't get some benefit from it as well, right? Like if I'm putting so much time, so much effort into it, I'm not doing that just for a medal. I'm also doing it so, I can go to a good university. And of course, I'm not going to spend so much time and effort into this and then maybe just end up going into some tier 3 local university. That wouldn't work. And as we increase incentives for people, we should expect more people to get into this, which again is happening. Like we have already seen a double participation rate this year, and I suppose it would just rise in the coming years, especially if IIT Bombay and Delhi start this sort of scheme as well.
Okay, like were you doing code forces? Were you practicing code forces for the IOI?
So okay, now this is, I would say, pretty controversial because this is a very, very big personal preference thing. So personally, I don't like code forces at all, and that's actually because of a very weird reason. So you might know that code forces rounds are held at 8 p.m. in Indian Standard Time, and I am usually eating dinner at that time. So I really just hate the time they host contests, and that sort of hate just sort of built up, and I was like, I'm not gonna do code forces anyways. I hate this website, and I started preparing mostly from other countries' Olympiads. But I know of people who did code forces. In fact, one of those persons you probably know as well, Dominator, Shayan Ray.
Yeah, I know. Like currently he's in like India's number one, I guess,
Yeah,
in code forces ranking.
yeah. So he loves code forces. Like he's also an IOI medalist. So he grinded for IOI using code forces, like majorly code forces. So this sort of like a depends upon person to person. Personally, don't like code forces. Dominator does, and I could name like a few more people who use code forces or who don't. This is a very big personal preference thing.
For suppose if a person liking using code forces, and how much ranking should he or she get to get into IOI?
So IOI in India, I feel like right now would probably be around 2000 rated on code forces. And the sort of the thing about code forces is, while code forces is definitely correlated with IOI performance, this is like a question that I get a lot, right? A lot of people ask me this question, how much code forces rating should I get for getting into training camp, for getting into IOI, for getting IOI silver, for getting this, for getting that. And I always tell them, this is a general range, but you have to remember that Olympiad problems are a little bit different, and that can make a good like 2000 rated, I would say, is like a minimum thing. Like, be at least 2000 rated, and after that also make sure you're good at Olympiad style problems, because the style of Olympiad problems is a little bit different than code forces.
Okay, then which platform you suggest to practice?
So I mostly practice on two websites. Uh, oj.uz, that is a Korean website, and qoj.ac, that's a Chinese website. These websites basically have a lot of problems from different countries' national Olympiads. So in my preparation, for example, I did the problems from Singapore's Olympiad, Japanese Olympiad. So Japanese Olympiad is a very amazing source. I would say it is very difficult. Like Japanese Olympiad is not easy level problems. They are very difficult, but they are extremely high quality. Like they write down, not only are the problems really cool to solve, but they also have really good editorials. Like some of those problems have 100 pages plus of editorials. Like one problem, 100 pages editorial. So they put a lot of effort into their problems. And which else? Like there's Baltic Olympiad, Central European Girls Olympiad. All of these I've done problems from.
You started a website SPOI, and you included all those problems in that website, I guess. Is it true?
Yeah. So uh, these websites, the QOJ and OJ, these are not really, they don't make their own problems. They are just mirroring other countries' problems. So, whenever a country uploads their question paper and their test data online, they will download this and they will upload it on their own website so you can solve it easily.
Okay, then like for Indians who are currently trying to compete in this IOI, is your website enough for them to practice? Like as you included all countries questions, I guess.
So the countries I mentioned were again very difficult because I use them at my current level. So I would say they're useful if you're preparing, if you're IOI level, but they wouldn't be useful if you're just starting out. If you're starting out, I actually feel like you could probably do Singapore, or there's Croatian Olympiad in Informatics. It's called COCI. So you should solve problems from that. Those Olympiads are relatively easy. You can also, again, you can do Code Forces, you can do AtCoder. Those websites. I personally don't like Code Forces, but of course you can use it. It's like, try out everything and see what works.
Because of majorly using code forces because of ICPC is the like is also like Olympics for competitive programming, is under Olympics for competitive programming who are in UG and PG level, I guess. So like I don't know exactly like code forces is organizing that ICPC or like they both interlinking. Or do you know anything about that?
So ICPs is not interlinked with Code Forces. It's a separate organization. As you said, it's sort of like the IOI, but for university students.
Yeah.
And it is very similar. Like for example, I'll think there's a very easy way to see this. So a lot of students, from IOI who do IOI, usually most of those students go international. But some of them do stay in India. And what you'll notice is whichever university they'll go to, that they will instantly enter their ICPC team in year one. Dominator. So this is actually like a very funny story I remember. So Dominator, I don't remember when he told me, but this was a story he told that when he joined IIT Kanpur, not Kanpur, Kharagpur,
Kharagpur, yeah.
he in the first year he wanted to join the CP club, but they didn't allow him to because they were like, you can only join this in year 2. But he was higher rated than anyone else in that club at that
Not
point.
only in that club. Now he is top rated in India, number one, I guess.
Yeah, so and not only Dominator, if you look at Triple IT Hyderabad, their ICPC team, it has Hariakash, Shiven, and Sushil. All three people are Informatics Olympiad people.
Yeah, like like in code forces, number one, like all over India, number one. Kennedy or Kennedy, I don't know exactly. Tourist as a user. He got like 7 medals in IOI.
Yeah. He has like 6 golds and 1 silver or something. He's a legend basically.
In between this, like how many attempts like can a person give from India? And how he can like if it is 5 from India, then what about that person? How he gives 7 attempts? Like it varies from country to country.
The rules for participation can definitely change a little bit, but the main sort of guideline is that once a person has passed out from school, they can't give the Informatics Olympiad. So, for example, even in India, you can give 10 attempts if you want to. You'll just have to start in 3rd grade.
Is it possible to participate like fourth or fifth class student in IOA? I was thinking like it's from 8th to 12th, I guess.
No, so the thing is, a 5th grader can technically participate, but then obviously, you have to remember that at 5th grade, their mind probably hasn't developed enough for them to actually get selected into the team.
If Indians get more awareness, maybe they will start participate like as that 3 years children participating in chess and getting medals and rating also almost to I don't know exact rating. His name is like Anis, I guess. Maybe these early age students also will start preparing for IOI and all. But that there is like from third standard, right? You were mentioning it.
From
There is like there is no, is there any age limit or not like for participating in IOI?
the age limit is 21 years, if I remember correctly.
No, like you were telling up to school.
So the criteria usually is uh you have to be in school and less than 21 years old. I mean, I don't remember the exact thing, but it's something like this only. You have to be in school and less than 21 years of age. There is no minimum bar. So you can be 10 years old as well.
It's also same rules in India on the international level.
Yeah. India has the same rules.
I used to think about this, like why he attempted, he gave 7 attempts, but why no one is giving that much attempts in India? Not even India, like even in other countries also. After that seven, maybe six the second highest is, right?
So even in India, if you know about Kshitij Sodani, he gave 5 attempts.
Yeah, 2 gold, 2 silver, 1
Yeah.
bronze, I guess.
Yep.
Apart from IOI, did you participated in any another Olympiads?
So apart from informatics, I did participate in the AI Olympiad as well. And I think you already know about this, but I also participated in the linguistics Olympiad. I wasn't able to clear the first stage, but I did give the first stage.
Like when did you participated it? Like
So
in which class?
I participated in linguistics Olympiad in 10th grade and 11th grade.
You were parallelly preparing for IOI and linguistics?
So actually, no, this is a very funny thing, but I didn't really prepare for the AI Olympiad at all. I just gave it for fun and I ended up clearing the second stage. But the linguistics Olympiad I spent a long time preparing for.
You were participating from 10th for 3 Olympiads parallelly.
From 10th.
I was asking that you were preparing parallelly for 3 Olympiads at a time.
Uh, so this is how it basically worked. In ninth grade, I only gave informatics, which was like 2 weeks of prep. In 10th grade, I prepared seriously for informatics Olympiad, and I only prepared for like 2 weeks for the linguistics Olympiad. And then in 11th grade, I obviously, by 11th grade informatics, I didn't need to prepare for it. Like, I'll be honest, for the second stage, I only spent around 3 days preparing for it. But linguistics, I spent more than 2 months. AI Olympiad, now again, this is the funny thing. I didn't spend any time preparing for the AI Olympiad. I just managed to clear stage 2 somehow. And then for international stage, I prepared parallelly. So what I actually had, so the schedule that I had was I would wake up in the morning, like 8 or something. I would have breakfast, freshen up. And then I would spend 6 hours studying informatics. Then I would take a break. And then I would spend around 2 to 3 hours on AI Olympiad. And then, sleep.
Okay, like you were not going to school in 11th and 12th.
No, I was in a dummy school.
Like what about the competition for IOA, like at zonal level participants?
So, they didn't release the data as far as I remember. I think it was similar to the amount of people in informatics, but I think AI Olympiad will cross informatics in terms of the number of people giving. And the reason for that is the AI Olympiad people are marketing the Olympiad actually. I remember actually, like 4 days ago, I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw this ad, and so in the ad they put the images of last year's medalists. So I scrolled and I saw my own image and I was like, what is this? And I realized that it was an ad for the AI Olympiad. So the AI Olympiad people are promoting this heavily. And I would 100% say ki AI Olympiad will cross informatics in terms of participants, at least in India.
Like what do you suggest? Like if a person gonna prepare for Olympiads, like which Olympiad you will suggest him to prepare for in perspective for like with respect to the future?
So, so one of the things I'll actually say is pay attention to your interest. Because if you're not interested in the subject, then you won't be able to study it enough. Because for Olympiads, you need to study a lot. And if you hate the subject or if you don't like it, then you won't be able to put in the work and you will probably just, waste your own time. So that's like one of the things I would say, make sure you're actually interested. But if you were to make, if you're like, I'm interested in both Olympiads, which one should I pick? Then I would say go for the AI Olympiad if you're looking for something that's a little more easy and a little more, maybe I would say, closer to like application stuff. Because, competitive programming and informatics, that's not really coding. Like, when I'm making an app, when I'm making a website, I'm not using competitive programming. It's like a completely different branch. Of course, it's useful in some areas, like maybe about quant. That is an industry where uh, IOI medalists are highly, highly valued. And highly, I mean, like, if you go to a quant company, you will see basically every single person working there is an IOI medalist or an IMO medalist, because that is a sector that really loves medalists. And that's sort of the thing. So if you're looking for, say, prestige, and like what is the Olympiad that more people will respect, then you'll have to go for informatics, because AI is not that well respected yet.
But when we compare in these two, which will be future proofed?
Future proof. So um that would depend upon like what you're going for. So again, uh informatics Olympiad competitive programming is useful for quant. If you want to go into quant, you should do IOI.
Let me zoom in here. Like quant means quantum computing.
No. Quant means quantitative trading. So firms like Jane Street.
High frequency trading companies,
Yes. High frequency trading companies.
HFT. Like in IITs and in our colleges in UG, there will be specific training for HFTs.
Yeah. So
Yeah, like
that's one of the sectors where like medalists are extremely valued. And extremely, I mean, like most medalists I know, if they want to, right, if they, of course, some people, they don't want to go into this stuff, they want to go into regular computer science. But if you want to go into this stuff as an IOI medalist, it's very easy, and you're paid extremely well. Like the starting salaries after bachelor's in USA can cross around $1 million in quant. So that's around 9 crores in Indian rupees. And that's after a bachelor's, not even a PhD or something.
that's too big. You didn't mention about the resources what you used to study. Like did you took training or and all?
So for informatics Olympiads, there's like three main sources, I would say. First, I've already discussed, which is problems from other countries. Second, I would say,
Like how you started prepare?
so I started with a mix of everything. So first of all, I had a mentor, right? That's very major thing. Uh, the mentor told me to use the
How did you get that mentor? Like
So the mentor is, it's very funny actually. So I was on the Discord community I had told you about earlier, and he actually just mentioned randomly that I have a group, a private group where I'm mentoring people, and I saw that message and I contacted him. I was like, can I join this? How can I join this? And he took some time. He asked me some questions, and then he admitted me to his group.
okay, like he's from.
He is he's he has passed out from Carnegie Mellon.
Okay,
He's originally from Kolkata, but
okay, like he's from India. Confirming whether he is from like our country or like some other
he is Indian. He is
different.
Indian. He's from Kolkata. He lives in Singapore, but he's an Indian citizen.
Okay, okay. Like was he doing? Did he give an IOI?
So He was selected for the training camp in some year, but he didn't get selected for the international stage.
Okay, so that like he started a group and helping the following students.
So even the bigger community I told you about, that community was also started by him only. So that's why he was, he wasn't the smartest person necessarily, but he was considered like very well respected in the Indian community. Like even now, most people would really, really respect him. Like even me, of course, if you ask me about him, I would sing his praises. So inside the group, there were mainly two resources we used. First was the Competitive Programmer's Handbook book. The second was CSCS. And
Did you believe him completely, or did you check for other resources like is there any training going on in like any coaching centers for these? Did you check for that?
so I did search that up if I remember correctly, but there aren't any. In fact, I'm actually trying to create one myself. It's called SPOI, and we've even raised some funds for that and stuff. We are taking it very seriously. But back then there wasn't any. Even now, I would say, SPOI is not a proper coaching yet. We are trying to turn it into one, but it is not a proper coaching yet. It's more of a community, and again we are trying out stuff right now. Back then we didn't have any coachings, and I did trust him completely. Like I followed his every word, because again, as I said, he was very, very well respected, and like a very smart person in general. If not, again, maybe not the best at CP, but very, very smart.
Later that practicing and all you were practicing from ninth, like your mentor is from your ninth or 10th that he is
Mentoring.
guiding. Yeah, mentoring.
Uh, my mentor, I met him in December of 10th grade. So this is,
December of 10th grade.
huh?
Dece- December of 10th grade.
Yes, yes. So basically near the end only.
Okay, up to then what, like you were practicing individually.
Yeah. After that, he helped me till for like 4 months till April. That was when the national stage was held. After that, he told me, I can't mentor you for the team selection test, but
Okay.
uh, of course, even those 4 months, those definitely changed my whole outlook on Olympiads in general, because he told me about, how to practice, how to learn, and stuff like that. And again, those are some of the things we are trying to do in SPO as well.
When did you start the SPO and what made you start it?
So I started SPR shortly after getting my international medal in 2024. So in around October, November 2024. What made me start it was the mentor that I talked about, who helped me and who created the original community. He actually retired from mentoring. So I kind of realized, now there's not going to be any community for Indian informatics people. So, and it was not just me, it was three friends, right? Me, Avigna, and Ovian. And I think Ovian was the one who was, he stepped in and he was like, let us three create the next version of this, basically. And sort of a, carry it on type thing in Olympiads. Like it's mostly seniors helping the juniors instead of teachers helping students.
Okay, Samik, this is the rapid fire section. So C++ or Python?
C++.
Do you prefer music or silence?
Oh, music, definitely.
Late nights or mornings?
Mornings
Code forces or ed coder?
at Coda.
Startup or research?
Research.
Uh, Yeah, Samik, in rapid fire section, you choose C++, uh, Why did you choose it over Python?
So that's mainly just because in IOI you're only allowed to use C++. So
Like, is there any specific reason why they are allowing only C++?
so it's mainly just that C++ is faster than like Python or Java. And I think between C++, C++ is just more popular because it has like classes and stuff. Although I'm not sure about the last part. Like I know C++ is preferred because they are very, very low level and they are really fast. But C++ versus C, I don't really know honestly.
Why did you choose like a research or a startup?
So that's mainly because I I personally don't like startup culture, like, working late nights on like a product, then that maybe you'll, in 2 or 3 years get acquired by some bigger company or something. I mean, that's interesting as well. Like I have a friend who's working on a really insane startup and he has like YC backing and stuff. So he's like absolutely crazy. And I mean, obviously, it's an exciting lifestyle. I just think I would personally go for research because I love that pure academic part. I don't really like, building products basically.
Like, I was having stats that like most of the Indians are choosing a career blindly, and most of the persons, like almost 80 to 90%, don't know about more than 7 careers. Before you choosing IOA, how many careers did you explore? Did you research, or like what research did you done on it?
So actually, this is something I am guilty of as well. Even I didn't know of most other parts. Like I knew, doctors exist, engineers exist, lawyers exist, and that was basically all of it. Because and for me, computer science was something that I really loved. Like, so, I never really researched more because I explored computer science and I realized that I really, really love it. So it's like, I don't need to research anything else. This is what I love. This is what I want to do.
Do you know about cognitive science?
Uh, Circuit designing.
No, cognitive science.
Oh, cognitive science. I've
Yeah,
heard of it. I've tried using some concepts from stuff like that, but honestly, it's not really worked for me.
it's actually about like human's brain. Like in future, maybe, like according to Elon Musk Neuralink project, those chipsets are inserted in our brains. Then we can easily download all the concepts, and we can do like mixed with like what, um biorobots. We will become biorobots, maybe biological robots.
I think that's pretty far away for now. Like, especially considering current tech and stuff, it's not coming in the near future. I don't think we'll see biorobots in our lifetimes.
AI is changing everything. Maybe like, you are you are a IOS medalist, and what do you think about j- super intelligence and all that one, AGI?
Yeah, so general intelligence, I think, of course, a lot of these companies say that we are very, very close to AGI. I think even Elon Musk tweeted something like, Grok, the next version of Grok will have AGI or something. I don't remember exactly, but he said something like that. But I don't think that is accurate. That is because I personally believe that LLMs, large language models, are not going to give us AGI because they are very inefficient and untrustworthy. That's one of the major like pain points of AI right now, which is what I think prevents it from being used in say biochips or making AGI or making, sometime in the future maybe super intelligence as well, is that we can't even trust it. Like, I personally use AI quite a lot. Like I have a ChatGPT Plus subscription. I use it very, very heavily. But I just can't really like go ahead and trust whatever it says. Like I have to verify every single thing. And that prevents it from being applied in a ton of domains.
Samik, which type of social media you use and what content you consume on them?
So I mostly use YouTube Shorts or watch YouTube. I do use Instagram sometimes, but not majorly. And like, as far as content consumed goes, it's like a general sort of sentiment, I think, nowadays that, people who consume that sort of, weird, funny content, they're like brain dead or stuff. But I do consume that content as well. And I mean, I don't think it makes me dumb. But yeah, I consume a lot of what people would call brain rot content, basically.
How did you keep your day productive?
So I think the best way to keep your day productive, at least for students, is parents. Just ask them to keep an eye on you. I mean, it's a it's a I don't know what to call it. It's a weird way, but it works. It worked for me. Like my mother, she does come in and she does check up on me sometimes, and it's not like she's gonna ask me to study. So that's one of the things. Like I know some parents, they're like, they're always pushing their kids, why you playing games, why you not studying, why you're not studying. But my parents never did that. Instead, what they did is they would just like ask me how much I studied. And that's a way better question in my opinion. And I think that's something, a lot more parents should do. Like just ask your kid how much they studied. And obviously make sure, they're not lying about that. But as long as they're studying enough, then leave them be. Let them play games when they want and let them study whenever they want. Like, I sometimes study late at night or when my mother's not at home. So obviously she's like, as long as you're getting the right amount of study in a day, it doesn't really matter when you get it. And I really, really prefer to let my brain basically run free. Like maybe my brain right now is telling me, no, today I want to watch TV for 1 hour and then I'll work. Then I'll listen to it. I know it's a bit unconventional. Most people are like, fight with that urge and stuff. I usually go with it. Like, obviously, again, up to a point, like, if I'm just feeling so lazy, ki I don't want to work full day, I'm not going to do that. But if my brain tells me it's a little lazy right now, then I'll listen to it usually. Because, in my opinion, you should listen to your body. Again, it's unconventional, but I strongly believe in that.
I was supposed to ask about scholarships and all, but they are providing these UG seats, right? Is there are they providing any scholarships? Like if you are gonna study in this, like not only if you are gonna do anything in India after that, are they providing any um, financial support and all?
Fortunately, in India, like I've said this before, but in India, we don't respect our Olympiad medalists. Like, especially again comparing it to China and stuff. In India, if you're like again, this is one of the reasons why, as I said, if you look at any Olympiad medalist, there's a very high likelihood they went out of India because India doesn't want India doesn't want to keep them because they're not offering any incentives. I mean, the scholarship is a far away thing. We don't even have admissions for them yet. Like as I said, only IIT Gandhinagar till last year. This year we started adding a few more universities, but even now actually it's not like there's a lot of seats. So from those 30 people, We only actually have 3 to 4 seats in total. And, you know, 30 people, 3 to 4 seats. Actually, it sounds like, you know, it'll be a lot of competition, but it's actually not that way. Because out of those 30 people, not every single person is in 12th class. So not every single person is actually going to apply for those seats. You'll usually only have like 7 to 8 people who are actually in 12th grade. And even out of those 7 to 8 people, the top 3 4 people are going to go outside of India. But I think that's what, India should try to stop. Like, even the top 4 people, like, they shouldn't be leaving India. Like, we should try to, keep them. And again, admissions, we start with admissions. Maybe we'll get scholarships in the future. Internationally, for example, like, I gave the example of China a while ago, but even if I talk about the UK, there's actually an organization called BIG, a Big Ingenuity Fund, I think. No, a Big Ingenuity Grant, something like that. The parent organization is called Global Talent Fund, GTF. So they have this scholarship called BIG, and this program basically provides a full scholarship to Olympiad medalists from any country for studying in the UK. So, universities like Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial College of London, universities like them.
Olympiad medalist will compete uh, among them to enter into top 10 universities according to world ranking.
Very easily. So there's two universities. There's two very specific universities, NUS and NTU, both in Singapore, and they absolutely love Indian Olympiad medalists. Like, they really really love us. Like, in fact, okay, I at IOI last year, I met a professor from NUS who told me, who not only told me, the entire Indian team, like, if you apply, we will give you admission guaranteed.
Yeah, like with along admission, they are providing 100% free scholarship and also accommodation too, right?
Now that depends. So NUS has very limited scholarships, but if we look at NTU is a lot more open. Like, NTU has a lot more scholarships. Specifically, there's one called the Turing AI Scholars Program, TAISP. So that, I think it has around 60 seats every year, and like, they give it to basically any Olympiad medalist that applies. In fact, not even informatics. Like, till now I've been talking about informatics because, as I said, AI is not that well respected. But that TAISP program, they give scholarships to AI medalists as well.
Okay.
If you're like an Olympiad medalist, and if you apply to NTU's TASP program, then you're, you know very high chance of getting in, and that is 100% scholarship, including accommodation, and it even includes stipends and flight cover and everything.
Yeah, like what about other like Harvard, MIT, and what about all those?
So the thing about the USA is that uh they love Olympiad medalists, no doubt, but like, in NUS NTU, as I said, it's basically guaranteed. If you apply, you're going to get in. Like, it is all like 99.9% chance. Like, again, as I said, a professor from NUS told me, you're guaranteed to get in if you apply, which is a very very big thing. Being a professor and saying, if you apply, you will get in. So Singapore is guaranteed. USA is like, you apply, maybe you'll get in. And there's actually another thing about the US, which I've personally felt, is that universities prefer people who study in international schools.
Okay.
So, uh, schools, which have an international curriculum, the places where, students are a little more uh, aligned with like the international sort of curriculum, you could say. And now that creates a very disproportionate thing, because those type of international schools are usually very, very expensive. Like, annual fees is like 4, 5, 10 lakhs. So
Yeah.
mostly, again, this is a personal observation. I've seen most people who go to the US as an uh, are like and these top 10, I'm not talking about some like tier 2 universities, even Stanford, Harvard, Yale. Most people going are people who are really, really rich. The only exception to this is MIT. MIT is the only university I've seen who there's like no sort of a rich bias in MIT. But then also MIT only admits around 2 or 3 Indian students every year. So, even if you are a gold medalist, you are you'll maybe get rejected. Like, I know people who got gold in the International Mathematics Olympiad, which is considered to be the most difficult Olympiad, and they still got rejected from MIT. So MIT is extremely competitive. Singapore is more of a safe bet. Like, if you get a medal, then Singapore is basically guaranteed.
What about UK?
So the thing about UK is now, okay, so let me just preface this with, this is obviously my personal opinion, and of course there are a ton of exceptions to what I'm going to say. But if you look at the Olympiads, most of the people who do physics Olympiad, chemistry Olympiad, astro Olympiad, they are people who are doing JEE, and they're going to go to some IIT. They're not going to go to the UK, they're not going to go to Singapore, they're not going to go to the US. They want to do IITs, they are doing JEE only, and they only did Olympiads as sort of a fun thing, like a side project. But if you look at informatics and mathematics Olympiad, most people who get medals go international. Now, in informatics, I've already told you, like, US has a very strong rich bias. Singapore is basically guaranteed. And UK, the thing about UK is not that well respected for computer science. Like, when you usually hear like what is a good computer science school, you'll hear about Stanford, you'll hear about MIT. You won't ever hear about Cambridge or Oxford, because, and actually I think I kind of know why this is, and that's because Oxford, Cambridge are a little more research focused type universities. And now again, this is another very important thing. Most people who do computer science want to go to the US. They want to not only study in the US, but they want to get a job and settle down there only. So, UK is like less attractive for them because they don't want to settle down there. They want to settle down in the US.
Yeah, comparatively, salary is also higher in US, I guess.
Yeah, salaries are higher and there are more jobs also. Like, we hear about Silicon Valley, that's in US only.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah, so the last Olympiad, Mathematics Olympiad. So in Mathematics Olympiad, you'll see most people will go to, again, in the US, there's a rich bias. So most people will just go to the UK. Like, if you look at the past IMO medalists, you'll see this guy went to Oxford, this guy went to Imperial College of London, this guy went to, again, some, UK universities only. Math people love the UK. So I think that's basically a full comprehensive view.
Samik, can you tell about the timelines for IOI? Not only IOI, for all. Is that for all Olympiads same timelines or different one?
So all Olympiads have similar timelines, not the same.
Okay.
Uh, I'll tell you for informatics because that's the only one I know of. For informatics, we have 2 zonal stages. You can give either one of them, you can give both. It, like, you only need to qualify through one. Like, if you want to, you can give both and you can qualify through both, but you only need to give one.
When does it happen?
The first usually happens in December. The second usually happens in, I think, end of November or start of January. The next stage is the national stage. This happens in February. And then we have the training camp. So the training camp is a physical 7-day sort of event that happens at Chennai Mathematical Institute, usually in the first week of June, first or second week. And there you have a 3-day competition. So, 3 days continuous competition, 5 hours. And then they select the top 4 people to represent India. And the international stage, it depends. Usually it's in September, August, July, one of those months. There are 2 more competitions here that I've not talked about. The first is the Asia Pacific Informatics Olympiad. It is sort of like a mini version of the IOI. It is an online competition. It is prestigious, but it is online and it is like not nowhere near IOI. So that happens in May. So anyone who qualifies for the Chennai training camp can give APIO, Asia Pacific. And Asia Pacific, I would say, is a very difficult contest as well. For some reasons, like, I mean, there's reasons why it's very, very difficult. And there's also the EGY, the European Girls Olympiad in Informatics. Now, obviously, as the name implies, only girls are allowed to give it. Usually, they have a team selection test for it in May only. I think it's now. So obviously, I don't know how exactly it is conducted, but they have a team selection test, and then the international stage is usually in July. But we have an exception this year, and the international stage is in May only. So we have yet to see what the timeline will be for girls this year, but for boys, it's the same. The June is the training camp, and probably August, September is gonna be the international stage.
Finals of IOI is conducting in different countries, right? Like for each year, conducted in different country.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what about the travel charges and all? Whom take care of that?
So this is a interesting question. 99% of cases, IRCS will borne the full cost of travel,
Okay.
but there are exceptions. For example, this year, I represented India at both informatics and artificial intelligence. And in fact, these Olympiads were overlapping. So I had to fly directly from informatics to AI. So I had to fly directly from Bolivia in South America to China. And now, because that return flight wasn't to India, IRCS didn't pay for that. So I actually had to pay for that out of my own pocket. Now, I didn't actually have to bone the final expense because someone else, another organization that I personally applied to, gave me a grant for that travel. But you know, I had to take that up personally again because it wasn't a return flight to India. But if it's a return flight to India, then usually IRCS will take up the cost.
Who is taking about IOI? That one, like, is IOI and IOI are organizing in India by ICAS, or what you were telling that one?
So AI Olympiad is organized by ACM India. AI Olympiad does not pay for travel. At least they did not this year. So actually, one of the things they said was, the Olympiad is in China, and a lot of companies don't want to sponsor travel to China. A lot of Indian companies, they are like, you tell them sponsor a trip to China. They're like, we don't want to be associated with China. So that's at least what they said. We hope that next year they will be paying for travel as well. But again, we have yet to see. They did not pay for travel this year, but they might do so next year.
Are they good with subjects?
Which mentors?
Like in both IOI and IOA?
So IOI doesn't have a mentor thing. So the only like sort of mentorship program is right now SPI, which me, Avigna, and Ovian run. That's obviously
Is
in
the
separate program. It's not.
I was asking about government one, central government one. Is
Yes. So Informatics, they do not provide any support. AI people do provide a lot of support. Now, I think this is like a general thing that like the AI Olympiad organizers are very, very active. They are putting in a lot of work. Like, as I said, they are marketing this Olympiad as well. And, they had a ton of mentors. So, what the AI Olympiad people did was after the national stage in February, they had like a 3-week workshop online only with professors from Triple IT Hyderabad, software engineers from Amazon, Google, and not like software engineers. They were like researchers. So like really, really smart people who gave lectures in like a 3-week workshop. And then even at the physical camp, they had a ton of lectures organized by professors. And even after the team selection test, they had people who helped us, who mentored us. This was, I think, mostly students from Triple IT Hyderabad. So, I think AI people, they provide a lot of mentorship, a lot of support. But Informatics doesn't.
okay, but we do have so many competitive programming or competitive programmers in India, but why they are not support? Like there are so many people, like even software engineers. Most of the software engineers do CP for getting into high pay companies like Fang Mang companies. Then aren't they helpful for support to the IOI camp and all?
So the thing is, I mean, they can probably help, but you have to remember that most of this work is done pro bono, and most people don't want to work for free. So, uh, of course, even IOI does have some lectures in the training camp, but they are organized by previous year medalists because, of course, they feel like it's interesting to give a lecture to your juniors and stuff, but they don't have a lot of professors and stuff because again, see, there's two things here, right? uh First thing is obviously you have less people who will do the work because they're not going to pay a lot. The second thing is also how sort of interested the organizers are in actually creating mentors, how in bringing mentors, because no one is going to go to IRCS and tell them I want to mentor students at IITs. No one's going to do that. They have to reach out. And again, this is somewhere where it really matters. I think for AI Olympiad, the organizers are really, 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 really active. Like very, very amazing organizers, and they are very, very active because they are really trying to promote this Olympiad. For Informatics, the focus of the organizers is more on the logistics side and stuff rather than, let's add mentors and things. Because, honestly, even I'll say this, but a lot of people, including me, don't actually find mentors that useful because I personally find self study to be better. But, and maybe that's one of the reasons why Informatics doesn't. Because, again, the organizers are focused on other stuff. For AI, the organizers are really, really focused on developing interest, on popularizing the Olympiad. Informatics doesn't need to do that.
Okay, then what about remaining IMO and science Olympiads?
So unfortunately, I don't know about those Olympiads, like how mentorship stuff works over there, because I've not given them